I've come to show you my heart. Let's walk up to the camera. Line up and get rid of my bones. This funny little man is my blood pumping system. It consists of my heart and a big tube at the back, my aorta. The section of the heart that actually pumps blood to the rest of the body is called the left ventricle. It's actually at the back or rear of the heart. We now remove all the veins and arteries and cross to our live hearts, exploring the 4 chambers we learn about at school. Talking with my friends from rehab, we think it's better to talk about the front and rear of the heart rather than right and left. To make sense of things, we're going to have to develop a more advanced view of the heart. The basic view of the heart is that old blood enters the right atrium through the right ventricle into the lungs, becomes new blood, goes to the left atrium, left ventricle, and out to the body. To complete the circuit, we'll have to add an arrow to all of this to show the circulation. To handle confusion, we're going to replace right with front and left with rear. There's also an ear-shaped extension to the atrium called the auricle. Most people have forgotten about this and it's often left out. All pumps need a pressure vessel to even out the pressure delivered. In the human body, this is a ½ meter long candy cane shaped piece of artery called the aorta. Pumps also need valves to direct the compressed blood. Here are 4 valves you can see when you open up the heart in a dissection, but there are also 2 others hidden inside the veins. We now have a complete hydraulic circuit and can watch blood as it circulates through it. We should add the medical name of the valves. You can actually hear them slam shut, and that's the sound of your heartbeat. Thump thump, repolarize, thump thump, repolarize. To make it easier to understand, we're going to replace some medical names with the actual functional names of what occurs at each site. So old blood enters the primer, and the front primer compresses into the front thruster goes into the lung reservoir and then gets oxygenated, which goes into the rear primer, which then primes the rear thruster, which thrusts into the aortic reservoir, which then bleeds through the body, removing the oxygen. Pressurized blood held in the aortic reservoir then flows through coronary arteries to the 4 heart chambers. These arteries can't just flap around, so they're held onto the surface of the heart by a layer of fat. My aortic valve was beginning to fail, so under high stress situations, my aortic reservoir was backfilling into my ventral thruster, cutting off my fresh supply of blood. This was confirmed by ultrasounds and placing pressure sensors inside my various heart chambers. Besides feeling fatigued and unfit, there was still a few months before I needed an operation. However, a second problem was about to emerge. In a relatively short period of time, I had developed a blockage in my left coronary artery. A wire guided into the artery measured the blockage at 90%. I was saved by cutting out the rotten valve and replacing it with a mechanical valve, and bypassing the blockage with 2 veins harvested from other places in my body.